Hi everyone, welcome to Shimmer Girl Talks. Today's topic is a reaction to Thon Lexy's channel. And before I go forward, I forgot to say in a previous video, check out O'Shea Duke Jackson. I hate that I didn't mention that when I did a reaction video on him. If you're not already familiar with him, very entertaining, gives spot on information, stuff like that. And I enjoy watching Thon Lexy as well, Black Light Podcast, something like that. And I enjoy his videos as well. Neither one of those men need me to shout them out. They have thousands upon thousands of more subscribers than me, but they are two YouTubers that I enjoy watching. Now with Thon Lexy, I don't agree with his take on Christians and Christianity. I tend to maybe kind of bypass those. I've listened to it, but that's not what this video is about. I have a theory about Black women and traveling. And if you're familiar with Thon's channel, and he talks about the travel leishas, he's the one that coined that phrase, so he gets the credit for that. So travel leishas, and he lets off the AR or something like that, some type of gun, and it's funny. I like I said, I do enjoy his videos, and he does a lot of Kendra G reaction videos and stuff like that, and he is spot on. And as I've said in one of my shorts that I got from him, I think that a lot of women would do well to listen to men's point of view about what men actually want. I give a lot of opinions and stuff, but I do not try to talk for men, answer for men, stuff like that. I try not to, because I'm not a man, and there is no way in the world I can even begin to speak for them. So, but anyway, but I do offer just opinions and advice, and the way that I talk on my channel is how I've been talking for years. It's just that now I have a platform in which to get my opinions out, and that's what I'm doing. So my theory about, okay, I get what Thon Lexy is saying about Black women having this huge, they have more, they tend to put more priority on traveling than if is the guy a decent guy, is he family oriented, is he father material, stuff like that. So I get what he's saying, and I also agree with him when he says that when so many of the Black women go on the Kendra G show talking about traveling, he's got to have his passport or he can't do nothing for me. Thon says that that is like a poverty mindset. And I had asked my mother a while back, before I even did this video, when my mother was with my stepfather, it seemed like we traveled down south every year because his people were down south. My grandfather used to also pile his kids, which would be my aunties and my uncles, in a car and head down south, seemed like every year, And my theory is, because so many of us were raised in a single mother run homes, we tend to be stagnant, meaning you're not going on annual trips. Like if you had a dad in the house and he's like, okay, kids, get in the car, and you're going to Disney World or down south or up north or wherever. And I think this is where the emphasis when it comes to Black women and traveling comes from, is from a poverty mindset, as Thon Lexy said. If you grew up with just your mother, and I'm not talking really about today's mothers where they have a lot more resources than, say, in my mother's day. When she was a single mother, when my brothers and I were kids in the 70s, there was a lot that my mother could not do being a single mother. Not to mention, it was still frowned upon to be a single mother back then. Even in the Black community, even though it was more prevalent in the Black community, it was still a little bit more frowned upon than it is now. And what I'm about to say now is anecdotal. And when I go out, my husband likes to travel. We both like to travel. We travel at least 2 to 3 times a year. Going off on a quick tangent, New York tends to be one of our go-to spots. But we're finding we just got back from London in June of this year, 2023. So we try to find different places to go 2 or 3 times a year, but it's just he and I, so we have really no other obligations other than work and home and stuff like that. So traveling is our thing. But with a lot of okay, so I have found when my husband and I, for example, when we go out to venues and stuff like that, we were just at the Thunder over Michigan air show. And going off on a quick tangent again, there was a plane crash there, and I saw it. I got the aftermath of it. The pilot and his passenger, they were able to eject out of there. This happened at the air show. It was very traumatic. But I'm bringing this up for a reason. Because when we were there, I like to people watch and pay attention to the different families. I mean, I might not know their relationship to each other, but I like to pay attention to that stuff. And as you can imagine, at the air show, it was probably 95% white families. And, I saw a few black people, trickled in here or there. It seemed like I saw maybe some Hindus, and I don't know what other ethnicities were out there. But one thing that I see when I go out, when we go to Arts, Beats, and Eats, or, like I said, different and various things around the city, the state, even traveling outside of the state and stuff like that, I tend to see white man, white woman, children. Indian man, Indian woman, children. Same with the Hispanics and stuff like that. Again, this is anecdotal. All of this is dependent on where you live. This is what I tend to notice. And when it's black people, a lot of times it's a group of black women and children. And it might be every now and then you might see black women, black children, and one man who doesn't, and you just don't know how he is related to them. And obviously I will see a black man, black woman, and children. I see that as well, but I'm just saying I tend to see more of the white families like that. Don't know if they're married or not, but I will assume that they are married. But anyway, tying this all together, I think the reason why we as black women tend to put emphasis on the whole travel thing is because it could be a thing of making up for how we grew up. If you had a mother who really could not afford to take you anywhere, when you grow up and finally you have that chance to do it, you're making up for lost time. That's what I want to say. You're making up for lost time. I could be way off. It's just speculation. But I just think that it's funny that Thon Lexy, he always, other people have also noticed his commentary on that, and he explains it well, and I see where he's coming from. This is not like lashing out at him or condemning him or anything. I'm just offering what I feel could be the reason why we as black women put emphasis on travel, because it stems from our childhood. Maybe we did not get it out of our system. Maybe we just wished and hoped, that we could go here or there one day. Or it could have nothing to do with that. We just like to travel, just like anybody else. And another thing that I would like to say, and he had mentioned it on his show, a lot of times we also like to copy what the other is doing. Because, you see one black woman, maybe it might be an IG model, and she's here and there, and she's dressed fabulous. And, and a lot of black women want to emulate what they see other black women are doing, especially if it looks fabulous and picture worthy and stuff like that. So that's my opinion on the topic. I had been wanting to address it anyway. But if you happen to be a first timer, or if you've watched my videos before and you just haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But I also like to encourage that you look at my other videos. Make sure we vibe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.